Broncos and the Oakland Raiders. And what is this unusual sight? It's a sellout in Oakland, the first in the last 24 regular season games here. Couldn't come at a better time for the Raiders. The renewal of a storied rivalry that lately has leaned heavily in Denver's favor. The Broncos have claimed 9 of the last 10 meetings. Hi everyone, welcome to Oakland. Greg Gumbel along with Phil Simms. A couple of years ago, John Elway, the great quarterback, said goodbye in Denver. On comes young Brian Griese, and all the Broncos are doing, Phil, is scoring 39 points a game this season.
What a difference a year makes for Brian Griese. We had a chance to talk to him the other day, and he said to us, I watched the film last year. He got his first win here in Oakland against the Raiders. He goes, I watched it, and I couldn't believe the decisions I was making, some of the throws. So he knows the difference, and he's been spectacular so far.
On the other side of the field is a quarterback who couldn't be more different in Rich Gannon, but all he does is get the job done.
Gets it done. He's not real pretty sometimes, not the prototype quarterback that everybody likes to see. But John Gruden said it best when he talked about his quarterback, and he meant it. He is the most competitive person on our football team. When you can say that about a quarterback, that's good for him, but it means a lot of good things for your football team.
Well, these Denver Broncos have won 9 of the last 10 meetings. They will have to go today without Terrell Davis, though, because Terrell missed last week because of a turned ankle, and apparently that ankle not well enough to play today.
Well, it's probably the best thing when you're talking about a running back of his quality. If there's any question, keep him out of the game and wait till he gets completely healthy before he becomes a big factor with your team again.
The Denver Broncos have won the toss and have elected to receive, so they will get the football first. And it is an excited Oakland crowd. It's an excited Oakland head coach and John Gruden as well.
Well, he's always excited, so there's nothing different from any other day in John Gruden's life. And Mike Shanahan, I think he likes a little challenge himself too.
Mike Shanahan, the former Raiders coach, left here in less than ideal circumstances.
And that's great, Greg. We always say that. For the first time, we've done a couple Denver Raider games. For the first, I can actually tell the rivalry is there. You can hear it, but the community, the fans in the parking lot, you can sense it when you watch the TV on the local news.
Sebastian Janikowski set to kick it away. Oh, listen to this crowd. He slips as he gets the kickoff, and it's short, and the Broncos fall on it at the 30-yard line. Monte Rager fell on the football for the Broncos at the 30 as Janikowski comes off the field. Here's quarterback Brian Griese, the top-rated quarterback in the National Football League coming into this game. 3 touchdown passes and no interceptions against Atlanta.
The biggest thing I heard him say, he did an interview with Leslie Visser in the pregame show, is he says, now when I drop back as a quarterback, I look at the defense and not the offensive players. And of course, to be great as a quarterback, that's what you got to do. You got to see the defense.
He'll start throwing the football. Ed McCaffrey just short of the 35-yard line. And a look at the starting lineup for Denver up front. A terrific offensive line that paves the way for the best ground game in the NFC this young season.
Running back and wide receivers, the big thing, Mike Anderson starting, and you got to keep your eye on Rod Smith today.
Wayne Carswell is the tight end. Byron Chamberlain will not see action today. Anderson and Howard Griffith in the backfield, 2nd and 6. Griese to the far side, has his man Rod Smith, and Rod Smith with first down yardage. Out of bounds, close to the 45-yard line. The Oakland defense, the Raiders' front 4 defensive end, Johnstone, Oakland's early sack leader with 2 of them.
The linebackers for the Raiders, Greg Biekert plays every play of the game, something different in the NFL.
And the secondary has terrific corners in Woodson and Allen. Johnny Harris starts for Marquez Pope at strong safety. First down for John Gruden's Oakland Raiders. Or rather for the Denver Broncos. John Gruden looking on at his defense. Anderson breaks tackles. Still breaking tackles and all the way to the Oakland 35-yard line before Anthony Dorsett can pull him down. It's a 20-yard gain.
Well, a little surprise today, Greg. We expected to see Terrell Davis, but you can see Mike Anderson. One thing that I talked to a couple of coaches around the league this week, one thing that all running backs have in common, when they get the football in their hands, it's north and south, straight ahead, Very aggressive, hard power running. And Mike Anderson, a big guy, he really fits the mold for him.
131 yards and 2 touchdowns in the win over the Atlanta Falcons last week in his first NFL start. He gets the handoff again. And more running room, left side, 25 to about the 23-yard line, and that'll be enough for another first down. 12-yard pickup before Johnny Harris made the stop.
Well, you look at this Denver offense, I think Rod Smith is going to be such a big key to this game today. But as you watch the running game, watch the Denver offensive linemen. They are extremely active. They get everybody caught inside. And then you got number 29, Howard Griffin, the fullback. Hey, he's there for one reason. That's to block people for the running game, and he does it very well.
First down for the Broncos. Greasy has time, throws, sideline. It is caught and knocked out of bounds is Rod Smith. That's an 11-yard pickup and another first down.
Well, the Denver Broncos, I think this is their signature passing play. Greasy gonna fake to the left. Watch him come to the right. And here's the key. Watch the tight end. Carswell blocking. Look how long Brian Greasy gets. It enables him to make a very difficult throw over William Thomas's head for the completion. The extra time, keeping the quarterback more protected. That's why they got a big first down that play.
Broncos are perfect in the red zone so far this season. Anderson breaking tackle down to the 5-yard line. Darrell Russell made the tackle. Boy, what a debut Mike Anderson made a week ago against the Atlanta Falcons. 31 carries for 131 yards.
And of course, the other thing I heard this week from these coaches I was talking to when I was asking about the Denver Broncos, what did I hear, Greg? They said, you know, we like that Mike Anderson. We liked him. We were going to get him, but Denver beat us to the punch. But I don't know. You got to ask what it is now. There's one thing in common with these Denver running backs. They're all running behind that offensive line that is lean, fast, and aggressive.
2nd and 3. Anderson to the 2-yard line. Something else these running backs have in common. And Mike Shanahan and his crew have had the magic touch. Terrell Davis was a 6th-round draft pick. Mike Anderson, a 6th-round draft pick. Last year, Olandis Gary, who was out this year because of injury, set a rookie rushing record for the Denver Broncos. He was a 4th-round pick. Mike Shanahan has done very well in the latter round.
That's right. And a lot of it's coaching, Greg. They bring them in here. They tell them what they got to do, and you either perform to that level or you're gone. But the big thing about this drive that's caught me off guard, Raiders, the emotion, the crowd, everything involved, getting overpowered and moved around up front by the Denver offensive line.
Yeah, this drive has taken a little of the starch out of this Oakland home crowd. Greasy hands to Anderson to the goal line. Did he get there? There's a penalty marker down.
Well, that's going to be holding. I think the back judge threw it. I'm not sure. I just saw the flag come.
It is holding. Our referee is Mike Carey.
Those.
Holding. Offense number 89. 10 yards. Repeat, first down.
That's tight end Dwayne Carswell. You know, this is tough going for any team. That crowd at the back of the Oakland end zone is awfully tough to deal with.
When you sit at home and you look at the Raiders on TV, you think, oh, that's the worst. They're overdo it, this and that. But we've been here enough, Greg. The crowd is for real. These guys that come and they're in that end zone, they dress up with all those outfits. They're noisy. They're very good with the players. I watch the players respond to them. I think they give the Raiders one an edge sometime here in this field.
That's Anderson in motion. 1st and goal now from the 12. Greasy under the gun and goes down. Grady Jackson with his first sack of the season.
Well, that's what you got to see from the Raiders. They're very good up front. Grady Jackson, number 90. When you get man blocking, going against Mark Schlereth, number 69, there's nobody in the backfield, nobody to double team you. No excuses. You can't tell the coach, well, coach, I was double teamed. Oh, they triple team me. You got to get it done.
Defensive coordinator Chuck Bresnahan. Anderson straight up the middle. Gets back 10, maybe to the 9 before he was knocked back. Anthony Dorsett and Tony Bryant in on the stop. It'll be 3rd and goal.
Greg, I was going to say earlier, 1st and goal for the 2-yard line. You get it down to about the six-inch yard line, you think, and all of a sudden it's first 12. I say it all the time, very, very difficult to score when you get so close, like the 10-yard line in the NFL. All the advantages go to the defense because they can back up and wait for you.
Greasy to throw on 3rd and goal. Gonna roll. Directing traffic, throws into the end zone, caught, and touchdown. Ed McCaffrey, his first touchdown of the season.
Good illustration, that play, mobility by the quarterback. Mike Shanahan said about Brian Greasy, no, he's not the fastest guy, but he knows when to run. That was a good time, and watch what happens. Ed McCaffrey comes down, he's covered, gonna pass a defender. Now he knows, he sees Greasy. What a job. Stop, find the open spot, makes the catch, feet were inbounds. And a touchdown for the Broncos.
And here is kicker Joe Nedney, a former Oakland Raider who has come on to replace the injured Jason Elam.
He might kick this one out of the stadium. You know, he's got a little anger working here. So the fans up in the upper deck might be the first extra point you've ever seen up top. We're going to get a challenge, Greg, which took a long time. I'm sure Coach Gruden was waiting for a replay.
The ruling on the field was a touchdown. It's being challenged by Oakland.
Yeah, John Gruden would like to know for sure that those feet were inbounds.
Well, we looked at it quick. Regular speed, it looks like it's a catch. Now remember, there's got to be something here that positively proves to you that this is an incorrect call. So let's watch it. Did he have possession as he went down? Look, you can sit here and you can say, oh, he moved a little, all these things. I do not see anything. Another good look from the back. Oh, nice shot. Both feet down.
You're right.
That's clean.
Is there enough there to change that call? No, there isn't.
Now, oh, good look. Toe down, and he knows where he's at.
You know, you take another look at that and you realize what a really terrific play Ed McCaffrey made.
Well, both parts, and that's always in a game, Greg. The coaches can't always draw it up. You got to ask a question.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. The receiver was in bounds when he caught the ball. Score is good. Oakland is charged with their first timeout.
Well, that's not, listen, to what we say, I think I did about 20 different Bronco games and always say the same thing. And you stop the initial onslaught. You are going to see the week of Mike Shanahan sitting in that room, squinting his eyes, and all the evil things he can think to do to your defense. You see him in the first quarter. And so the Raiders go to the sideline. Can you adjust to what you see or what you saw and do better as the game goes on?
Oh, how big is that to score on the opening drive on foreign turf? Joe Nedney converts the extra point. And the Denver Broncos have come out on the strength of the touchdown pass. Greasy to McCaffrey, and they lead it 7-0. 69 yards in 10 plays. This is nothing new to the Oakland Raiders, who were blitzed early on a week ago by the Indianapolis Colts and rebounded in the second half. They fall behind here 7-0.
So what are you trying to tell me? They're like going, oh, this is good. We're behind.
We're comfortable with this.
Yeah, okay.
Napoleon Kaufman and Calvin Branch are deep for the kick from Nedney. There's Kaufman. Bouncing. And Kaufman to the 20. Up the sideline and out of bounds close to the 40-yard line. Run out by Ray Crockett. So Rich Gannon will have terrific field position when the Raiders take the field now. Rich Gannon leads the Oakland Raiders out of the huddle. 1 touchdown pass, no interceptions, but 3 rushing touchdowns last week in the come-from-behind win over the Colts. First down from their own 37. And Gannon going to throw. Lost the football. Picked up by the Broncos. Trevor Price into the end zone for the touchdown.
Just overpowering by the defensive line by the Broncos just off the snap count. Kavika Pittman, number 95, gets through, gets his hand on Gannon's throwing arm, and then Trevor Price, one of the best athletes in the NFL playing defensive line, picks it up, and that must be a great feeling for a defensive lineman to score a touchdown like that.
28-yard return of the fumble. And Nedney to try his second extra point in a matter of seconds.
Well, the Raiders, Greg, to emphasize, they really must be feeling good now, getting down 14-0, because last week it was 21-0. But the good thing is for them, they can deal with adversity. They did the first 2 games, so there's no reason to panic because you're down 14-0.
If you don't time out for the review of the catch, the Broncos have scored 2 touchdowns in 19 seconds. And does it please John Gruden? I don't think so. Floating over today's game, the Eagle is one of 7 airships in the Goodyear blimp fleet. Kaufman and Branch are deep for the kick from Nedney. This is Kaufman. Going to run it out of the end zone. To the 10, the 15, up the sideline to about the 18-yard line. George Coghill knocked him out.
Look at the Raider offensive line, a lot of high draft picks and big size.
Tyrone Wheatley and John Ritchie in the backfield. Brown, Jett, and Dudley are Rich Gannon's receivers.
Well, Greg, you know, looking at the game today, the Denver Broncos, John Gruden said about their defense. He said the front 7, they are tremendous finishers. What he means by that, they're all athletes, good athletes. The defensive linemen, the linebackers can run. The problem is, you know, he thinks you can take advantage of the secondary. The question is, can you get time to do that?
Wheatley, loose football. The Denver Broncos have recovered. You're right, John. This is unbelievable.
It is. Again, let's take a look at the replay and just look at the line of scrimmage. The Raiders' offensive line, it's big. They just get no penetration up the field. Everybody's there. Big hit. I couldn't see the number. And Eric Brown makes the recovery for the Broncos.
You know, we talked about what shock value it was for the Indianapolis Colts, the way they jumped on Oakland last week. This doesn't even begin to compare.
No, when you got all the emotion and a lot of things in your favor playing at home, and to come out like this is got to be a shot.
Greasy, rolling, throws, almost intercepted, and a penalty marker is down at the goal line. Charles Woodson and Ed McCaffrey were doing battle down there, and this looks like it'll be against the Raiders.
Sorry, Anthony Dorsett looked like he was grabbing on to Ed McCaffrey. Remember, when a quarterback leaves the pocket, the defensive backs don't know it, so when the receiver changes his direction, all of a sudden, a defensive back is going to panic, stick an arm out, and sometimes they grab.
Pass interference. Defense, number 24. Automatic. First down, the spot foul.
That's Woodson, the 2-time Pro Bowler and 1998 Heisman Trophy winner.
But see right here, you're going to look, good penetration by the Raiders defensive line. Greasy comes out. Receivers change direction. We missed a pass interference. Charles Woodson right there in front. Nope, I'm sorry, he's on the side. So it was him in the back.
So it's 1st and goal from the 5.
See, last week I took the week off, Craig. My eyes have gone bad.
I know, it's the first time I've ever seen him get a good riddance card from the Indianapolis hospital.
High maintenance, that's me.
1st and goal from the 5-yard line. Anderson. And he's going to lose about 4 on the play. Lance Johnstone with the penetration.
Well, to get to the Raider defense, when you talk about it today, we talked to Chuck Bresnahan, the defensive coordinator. And Greg, the start of the game illustrates it. Can you withstand the barrage from Mike Shanahan? What new wrinkles are they going to have? And I think he said it best. Whatever tendency the Broncos offense has, don't pay attention to it, because Mike Shanahan's going to break every single one of them when he comes to play the Raiders. Just about every single game he does that.
Second and goal from the 8. Play clock winding down to 1. The give to Anderson. Anderson to about the 6. A gain of 2. It'll be third and goal.
Well, you look at it, you almost got to say the Raiders, they're playing for the game right now. That's how big this is. 14-0, first quarter. You go down 21-0 against an offense like the Broncos, you know they're going to score somewhere along the line. It's almost impossible to come back, so you got to stiffen up and let it go.
Well, you could have said the same thing a week ago if you'd been around.
Well, I just had to take a week off to see how you do this without me. You know what I found out? You need me.
Third and goal. Quick drop, Greasy looking and now forced out of the pocket. Looks like the last time he threw a touchdown. This one he throws away. And that'll bring the field goal unit on.
Well, what a tremendous job of the Raider defensive backs. Linebacker Greg Beekert back in the end zone. Again, Greasy under pressure, getting out of the pocket very easily and just creating problems for the Raiders defense.
These two teams, the only teams coming into the action today that didn't have a turnover. And the first 2 of the game by Oakland, first 2 of the season, cost them. 24-yard field goal attempt from Nedney. And that's perfect. 6:24 to play in the first. So far, it's all Denver. Welcome back to Oakland, where the Denver Broncos have shocked the Oakland Raiders. They've scored 17 points within a 2-minute, 21-second span and lead 17-0. Nedney to kick it away again to Kaufman and Calvin Branch. Napoleon Kaufman from the 6. And hit hard as he crossed the 25-yard line. 20-yard return, and let's go back to what has been the big difference in this game so far.
Well, defensive line pressure by the Broncos causes Rich Gannon to fumble and results in a touchdown. And then something you always see early in the games, Bill Romanowski with the big hit on Tyrone Wheatley causes the other fumble.
First 124 offensive plays, no turnovers, and just 2 offensive plays and 2 turnovers so far. Tough to get into a rhythm when you're a quarterback doing that. Ritchie and Wheatley in the backfield. Gannon to throw. Steps up, throws, has his man. That's first down. Tim Brown with his first reception of the day. We hear.
Back to you. Well, it's not funny. I don't mean to laugh, but I'm just questioning, didn't you something? Don't get in that end zone.
All kinds of time for Gannon. He throws far side and has his man. It is incomplete, however. James Jett out of bounds. One thing we've learned from watching Rich Gannon over the years, he will throw it from just about any angle you can possibly get rid of a football.
I think it's one of the big reasons, Greg, why he's been successful here as a Raider and his career when he's had success. The guy can throw it from any angle, off balance, and I honestly believe he might be better doing that than he would if you made him sit up, stand up, and just to throw it normally down the field.
Andre Rison has come onto the field and is flanked to the lower part of your screen on 2nd and 10. Gannon under pressure, lost the football. Penalty markers down. There's just all kinds of things happening on the field today. Keith Traylor and Bill Romanowski into the backfield in a hurry. Face mask against Denver.
First foul, major face mask, defense number 95. 15 yards from the dead ball spot, automatic.
That's Kavika Pittman.
Well, Greg, a couple things about this game. You know, as I watch that pass rush on Rich Gannon, he does such a good job of sliding around in the pocket usually. We talked to Bill Romanowski. He says, hey, look, everybody else doesn't know how to play. We do. We are going to keep him in the pocket, stay in our lanes, and don't go crazy, make him beat us, throwing the football, and moving around and making the plays that way with the passing game.
Here's Tyrone Wheatley to about the 46-yard line.
And again, I told you the Raiders, the key for them on offense today, protect the quarterback, of course, because Denver, what did Rich Gannon say? He was watching film and he goes, I'm looking at stuff, and John Gruden too. We couldn't even identify what the Broncos defense was trying to do. Everybody's walking around a lot of different fronts, and so it's confusing for the quarterback. For him, figure it out, get protection, and then try to make the plays down the field.
Gannon, pump fake. Looks to the far side. Wide open receiver is Jeremy Brigham. And Brigham inside for a first down. 19 yards.
Watch games. They make spectacular plays, but they give up, I think, a lot of big plays down the field.
Double tight setup worked very well a week ago. And here's Tyrone Wheatley right up the middle inside the 20-yard line.
And I think I said that as I was talking to Rich Gannon the other day, his confusion. But I said, but Rich, that also gives you
any level of his career.
It's hard to believe as good as he runs.
Coming around the near side and being bumped out of bounds is Wheatley.
Well, one
pickup of 8, excuse me. First
no, it's
down,
okay,
Bill.
Greg. One thing that always tells if you are physical enough and control the line of scrimmage. Oh, nice block by Ricky Dudley down inside. Can your running backs get to the outside? To get to the outside in the NFL, you've got to sustain blocks for a long time. So that play tells you there, that time, the Raiders physically were much better on that play.
As a head coach, you have to wonder, John Gruden, when a team comes out and punches you in the nose, as the Broncos have done to the Raiders, how are they going to react? And the Raiders have recovered very well. Down in the red zone, Gannon throws, end zone, touchdown! Tim Brown. Gruden, when a team comes out and punches you in the nose, as the Broncos have done to the Raiders, how are they going to react? And the Raiders have recovered very well. Down in the red zone, Gannon throws, end zone, touchdown! Tim Brown.
I'll tell you what, Greg, if you can't react well to adversity in the NFL, then you're not going to win football games, and you're not going to be a good football team.
76 career touchdowns. He is now tied with Fred Biletnikoff. And there's Fred. Oh, what a receiver he was. Janikowski. So Gannon leads the Raiders back downfield. Capping it off with the touchdown pass to Timmy Brown. Brown with career TD catch number 76. He and Biletnikoff now number 1 Raiders all time. Chris Cole to the 20, 25, 30, and across the 35 out to the 38-yard line. A terrific return by Chris Cole, the rookie out of Texas A&M. Johnny Harris blitzing. Greasy gets it away, incomplete. Intended for Ed McCaffrey.
Broncos offense.
Anderson across the 40 to about the 43-yard line.
And they've made a few adjustments to the formations, which are always different every single week. Hard to do when you're reacting and not just going after the quarterback.
Greasy with time, throws, great catch by McCaffrey. 45, 40, down the middle of the field and dragged down inside the 25-yard line. Charles Woodson caught him, but not until McCaffrey had picked up 35 yards.
Good example why big wide receivers in the National Football League, everybody wants them, and most teams have them. Eddie, you let it go.
On first down, Travis Griff in the lineup, but the handoff is instead Anderson to the 20-yard line. And Beekert is there for the stop. Pick up.
It's the difference between winning and losing, and the Broncos are a big proof of that.
Carswell in motion, Greasy to throw. Throws for Carswell, out on the back, it's complete. Inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line.
Carswell He's a pulling guard out there, so you got to be careful when he catches it.
Time about to wind down here in the first quarter, and that'll do it for the first 15 minutes. Mostly Denver. Raiders came back 17-7. The Broncos in the lead. We'll come back to Oakland for the start of the second quarter right after this. Bill Sims and Armin Katsay and Greg Gumbel. The Denver Broncos looking at a 3rd and 1 from the Oakland 13-yard line. And so far, Broncos have been good in the red zone. Pitch. Oh, all kinds of running room. Left side, first down, inside the 5, and just out of bounds, short of the goal line.
Greg, we talked about key breakers, tendencies. This is one that really does it. When you look, the fullback goes right. You think there's no lead blocker for Mike Anderson. They pitch it to the other side. The Raiders defense has got to be thinking, ooh, that's could be inside the pylon, yes. The Raiders have got to be thinking it's going to be a run right. They get crossed going the other way. Tony Jones is the lead blocker. That's why it was such a good run.
First and goal from the 1. 64 yards already for Mike Anderson. Greasy throws, touchdown, Howard Griffith.
Well, that's a gimme. Anytime you got first and goal inside the 1, defense, sell all out. Play run, run, run. If the other team wants to throw it, then, you know, good for them. And Brian Greasy, the receiver, wide open. Howard Griffith, nice catch.
Good hands.
Reagan Upshaw coming right at Greasy, gives him a little hit. But Brian Greasy will take that for a touchdown pass any day. Well, I'd like to have Mike Shanahan calling my plays. Get inside the 1, touchdown pass.
Nedney's kick is good. 14-27 to play in the first half. The Broncos come right back and get that touchdown back. 24-7. On a field goal, a touchdown, and you throw in the fumble return for a touchdown by Trevor Price. You would take that anytime, but if you get that on the road, it is golden.
It is. Now, you know, after 3 weeks, you start to see trends in the NFL. And the trend I've picked up with the Broncos, their offense is really good. See how I'm on top of these things?
I see.
Okay.
Oakland Raiders trailed by the same 24-7 score a week ago. David Dunn from the 10. 25 and down to about the 28 or 29-yard line, and we'll take this opportunity.
And it'll help the Broncos offense.
Napoleon Kaufman in the backfield. He's the man in motion behind Gannon, and Gannon throws it out here to Kaufman. Tucks it inside. A little room to run. Out to the 40-yard line, and that's a first down for the Raiders. Al Wilson, the middle linebacker, with the stop after a 12-yard pickup.
Very nice play by the Oakland Raiders. Throw it outside. You got Bill Romanowski one-on-one with Napoleon Kaufman. And if it's not for the field, this dirt infield, I see players slipping on it and not getting good traction. Napoleon Kaufman was probably cheated out of about 8 or 10 yards extra because he lost his footing.
Kaufman to the sideline. Wheatley in the backfield along with Ricky Dudley. Gannon on the run, and down he goes. Brought down by Al Wilson. Third sack of the afternoon for the Denver Broncos. Kaufman back in the lineup. Kaufman, 40, 45, midfield, off to the races. To the 20, the 15, inside the 5, loose football. And the officials say that that ball is down. It'll be first and goal for the Raiders, a 60-yard pickup.
Well, you think about, we got to get Napoleon Kaufman to the outside. To throw.
Terrell Buckley made the stop down deep at the 2-yard line. And Napoleon Kaufman, with a quick opening play, just authored the longest offensive play of the Raiders this season. And now a timeout is called. Are we going to get a challenge? Goal from the 2. Wheatley and Ritchie in the backfield. Wheatley trying to turn the corner, and he can't get around. He's out of bounds. Al Wilson over there to make the play.
Al Wilson, Eric Brown, the safety, comes up and does a good job, makes Tyrone Wheatley take 2 more steps to the outside and keeps him from scoring. Penetration, by the defensive line in the backfield. Trevor Price gets back there. Eric Brown misses the tackle, could have headed back to the 5-yard line. Al Wilson, showing his speed, gets over and stops him 2.5 yards short.
2nd and goal. That's Brigham in motion. Gannon rolling, pulls it down, and is going to run to the end zone. Did he get there? No. Short of the goal line. Jenkins and Brown coming up from their safety positions to make the stop on Gannon, who did that 3 times last week.
Well, most quarterbacks, when they panic, watch this. When you do this and you go outside, nice fake, got us all. They usually keep going outside, but Rich Gannon, one of the few that I've noticed ever, always has composure, pulls it back down and goes inside. Knee is down, he is short, it's a good call. Now if you could hear the fans in the background moaning.
Goal. Wheatley, he didn't get there.
Oh. Now, I would say you go for it on 4th down, but that was, you lost a 1/2 yard. John Gruden's going to kick the field goal. That is big.
Sebastian Janikowski comes onto the field.
What
from 19 yards out, Janikowski converts the field goal. Janikowski now 2 out of 4 in the field goal department on the season. Gannon comes up touchdown. It's 24-10. Wouldn't quite qualify as a defensive struggle here, but it is entertaining. 24-10 Broncos as Janikowski kicks it away. From the 7, it's Billy Miller. And Miller brought down just short of the 20-yard line. Eric Johnson with the tackle, and we go down to Armin Katayan. Armin.
Thanks, Greg. As you know, Chuck Bresnahan, the defensive coordinator for the Raiders, told us one of the real turning points last week. Despite getting down by virtually the same score, the defense never panicked. There was no finger pointing. They went to the sidelines, they looked at pictures, they made the adjustments necessary to stay in the game. Well, the exact same thing happened. He brought Greg Biekert over. They went over the same things. We'll see if the results are similar. Back to you.
All right, Armin.
You know, I always watch, and I did it a little bit at the end of my career, the pictures they take. You bring them down, I got something out of it, but listen to Chuck Bresnahan and the players. They learned so much because of all the formations and movement by the other teams that it does help them make adjustments during the game.
Greasy throws, incomplete, and number 21, Eric Allen. Well, he was just surrounded by Ed McCaffrey, and the only place he was between the ball and McCaffrey. There's no way McCaffrey could reach it.
Yeah, watch this. You know, Eric Allen's going, let me have this dance, Eddie. Because Ed McCaffrey cannot shake him. Watch this, going down the field, makes the move. Oh, and a nice job. Eric Allen turning around, looking for the football. If it's up, he has a chance to probably make a play on it.
6 Pro Bowls in Eric Allen's terrific career. 2nd and 10, loose football, picked up by the Raiders. Reagan Upshaw with the recovery.
Well, turnovers usually happen because of pressure, getting out of position, things like that. But this is, oh, it slips out of Brian Greasy's hand. I thought it was a bad handoff. It just squirts out. Watch it. When he puts one hand on it, boing, there it goes. Now, sometimes in this league, the footballs, they're brand new. They can have a little film on them, and they can be hard to handle sometimes, and that could be the reason why it slipped out that time.
You know, whether you're watching from a booth or from the comfort of a hospital bed, Indianapolis came back, and they now have a chance to score again. Wheatley nudges across the 10-yard line. Denver with the first turnover of the season for the Broncos.
A lot of these Raider fans are going, man, Kenny favorite quarterback. This would be like the old days. A lot of the circumstances, they haven't been able to get full crowds here, sell it out, show the people in Oakland the Raider games.
On 2nd and 7, Gannon throws, touchdown! Tim Brown, number 77 of his career. What a job of standing in and then side-arming the touchdown pass to Tim Brown. Well, they shared the record briefly, very briefly.
Nice play by Tim Brown, but an outstanding play. You said it, Greg. Rich Gannon hanging in there, falling back, whips it in there for the touchdown.
Janikowski's kick is good. Tim Brown with 2 touchdowns. Then we have a penalty marker on the field. And the Raiders are going to have to kick it again.
John Gruden says, I've built this offense basically now to fit his talents, and it really serves him well.
Janikowski sat back by the penalty. Doesn't matter. And on the sideline, Fred Biletnikoff going over to Tim Brown and saying, hey, you're the new record holder in Oakland Raider history. The Broncos had 17 points in a 2-minute 21-second span. Oakland has now scored 10 points in the last 62 seconds. Chris Cole, the deep man. This will be Cole from the 3 to the 20 and close to the 25-yard line. 24-17 Denver. The Broncos back to work on offense. The pitch for Anderson to the right side. Nice block out there, and is stood up at about the 25-yard line by Johnny Harris. Let's check in for our first update of the day with Jim Nance in New York. 2-yard pickup on the play. 2nd down and 8 for the Broncos. Quick pass batted in the air and caught by Rod Smith. That one had disaster written all over it for the Denver Broncos. Smith is there as the ball comes down.
What a reaction by Rod Smith. I'll tell you what, when a quarterback throws a screen or anything like this and it gets knocked up in the air, start running, because you got to make a tackle because it's going to get intercepted. And Josh Taves, number 90, the offensive lineman, you got to get out and go into those guys a little before you try to cut them. Almost disaster. Broncos.
3rd and 3. Greasy. That one tipped again and falls incomplete this time. And now you see Darrell Russell and a fired-up Oakland defense. Armin Katayan was talking about Shanahan earlier. His defense is coming around.
Well, this is something I don't think we see enough of in the National Football League. Defensive linemen, they're always so concerned with get rid of a lot of those short passes by the offense.
For the first time today, we see a punter on the field, Tom Rowan. Kicking to David Dunn. It's blocked. Into the end zone for the touchdown. Randy Jordan.
Bad snap by the Denver Broncos. The snap is a little wobbly. It's a little slow. Randy Jordan gets that extra second and gets back and blocks the punt. Remember, the Broncos, they lost their snapper last week. Trey Teague is out.
Glenn Cadrez filling in for him. Janikowski's kick is good. 7:48 to play. And things are looking good for these Oakland Raiders. 17 points in the last 2:37. Turnaround for the fortunes of the Oakland Raiders and the Denver Broncos. Janikowski's kick. Chris Cole from the 6-yard line. Breaking it outside. 25, 30, the 31-yard line. Marquez poked at the tackle, and let's go back to the block punt.
Couple things. Watch the snap. Randy Jordan, number 28 on the end. He comes through. Oh, he just outruns him. But they use, that's not uncommon. Let the outside guy go sometimes. Oh, John Gruden, he's got to be excited. Anytime you see a special teams turnover, that is big. Usually a special teams turnover for a touchdown will be enough for your team to win the football game.
Anderson and Griffith in the backfield. 1st down Broncos from the 31. And Matt Lepsis appeared to
and score a touchdown.
Trey Teague snapped for punts and place kicks. His injury has brought Cadrez in to snap for punts. And on place kicks, then Lepsis will be doing the pick up a 5 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 10.
See, now the Broncos, they're trying to find a way to settle the game down. You know, they came out and they're just hitting you right, left, uppercut, everything. And now they're doing the opposite.
Davis not available to the Broncos today because of the sprained ankle. Mike Anderson has performed admirably. Shovel pass inside, across the 30 to about the 33-yard line. Anderson is brought down by Greg Beaker. He was calling the signals out on the field that helped bring that Indianapolis offense to a halt in the second half. 3rd and 8. Greasy throws far side, McCaffrey, and he's not going to get the first down. Charles Woodson and Elijah Alexander converge, and the play marker goes down.
Now this could be a personal foul for a late hit. But you know, Eddie McCaffrey was still up. Well, not anymore. He's down on the ground as I look over there. They're going to throw the flag when it comes to personal foul penalties, and I don't think that was the correct call that time.
Travis McGriff is into the game for McCaffrey, and Anderson fights his way across the 45 to about the 43-yard line.
When you get it going your way, because things really come in bunches for you. You know, just that momentum, you feel good, and you just make plays on both sides of the ball, and that's what's happened to the Raiders here in the last few minutes.
Anderson again. And that'll be a first down for the Broncos as they move the ball and the clock. 48 points here in the first half.
You get that first down because of the call. Look at John, and they don't commit stupid penalties to put themselves in tough position.
Anderson goes nowhere, and the big stop by Darrell Russell. Now Darrell Russell at 6'5" and about 320. This could stretch your neck out to another shirt size.
Well, just a good job of Darrell Russell coming off the block. And Greg, another guy, Darrell Russell, one of the best interior defensive linemen in the National Football League. The question is, with him, it's not talent. The question is, how many plays are you going to play all out in this football game today? When he decides to turn it on and be a factor, he is a factor. Mike Shanahan even agreed. When he plays all out, it's hard to block him.
2nd and 12. Greasy steps up, gets rid of it in the air. Incomplete, intended for Rod Smith, and there were about 5 Oakland Raider defenders around him.
And there were 2 big ones by Brian Greasy. Too many Raiders around him.
And now another big play for the Raider defense. 3rd and 12. McCaffrey is back in the lineup. Deep drop for Greasy. Throws far side, complete to Dwayne Cardwell, and he's short of the first down.
Could be a territory where you think about going for it on 4th down here. Or you take a 47-yard field goal from the dirt.
Mike. 4th and 2. Greasy going to go for the end zone. To Rod Smith, it is incomplete and almost intercepted by Eric Allen.
Eric Allen's been a tremendous pickup for the Oakland Raiders, and he is doing a terrific job today. No chance right here. Look at this. He's the receiver, and he's going up. He's not going up to defend that pass. He wants the interception. And I think the Denver Broncos are thinking, hey, it's 4th and short. They're going to throw something short. Let's go deep and surprise them. Eric Allen, he's seen it all.
Although as far as field position goes, it's better off for the Raiders that Eric Allen doesn't intercept that football.
Hey, you know what? Eric Allen don't care about those 10 yards.
Numbers.
I want that pick. Those are hard to come by in this league, but a terrific play on 4th down.
First down for the Raiders from their own 30-yard line. Big blitz pass is incomplete over the middle. Trevor Price right up the middle, and now a late flag.
That's a good call. That ball is strictly thrown to avoid a sack. You've got to throw intentional grounding. Anytime the quarterback throws the football to avoid a sack, in some no chance, but so it be.
Wheatley is back in the lineup. Gannon slides, goes. Wheatley out of the backfield, first down, out to about the 46-yard line. Terrell Buckley ran him out of bounds after a 16-yard pickup.
We talked earlier, Greg. Rich Gannon said, what did he say? That the Broncos defense does a lot of things, and that can be good because you create havoc. It's chaos, but also what it does, sometimes it creates confusion for the defense, and that's a good example. Tyrone Wheatley, there's nobody within 15 yards around him. You give up an easy throw and catch and a big first down.
2:40 to play in the first half. Gannon, pump fake, and pushes it out to Wheatley. Wheatley about a yard on the play, maybe. At the plays on the sideline. Napoleon Kaufman in the backfield behind Gannon. Oakland has 2 timeouts remaining. The pitch for Kaufman. Pulled down in the backfield. Number 95, Kavika Pittman. Dallas, this is his first signed as a free agent here in Denver. 3rd and 19. Gannon down the sideline. Complete out of bounds. No. Incomplete. James Jett. And that is the second time today that James Jett hasn't been able to make the catch inbounds.
Well, that was a well-designed play. They got the perfect coverage to stop this one. It never gets down because of the hit. It's not reviewable, even though he's hit out of bounds because that must be called by the official on the sideline. But they take advantage of Terrell Buckley there. Did you see him come flying up, trying to take away a short pass? That enabled Jett to get behind him.
So now Shane Leckler with his first punt today. Fair catch at the 17-yard line by Delta O'Neal. And we want to remind you to log on to NFL.com. Follow the
make some mistakes and still be able to overcome it as the season goes along.
1:03 remaining here in the first half. And Anderson straight ahead and not much there. They have lost 2, Darrell Russell and William Thomas. Lost 2 on the place, 2nd and 12.
Still waiting for him to get well card from you, but that's all right.
It's that medicinal smell that you can't deal with.
You don't know how much you miss work until you're not doing it.
That'll be the last play of the first half. And what a first half it has been. The Broncos led 17-7 after the first quarter. The Raiders outscored the Broncos 17-7 in the second quarter. Let's go to Armin Katayan.
John, 24-7. Looks like this team at the age of 35 is looking to make you kind of an old man here.
I love football, don't you? I love it. It's this big game. We're tied up. We knew it was going to be this type of day.
All right, John. Thank you.
All right, Armin, our halftime score, 24-24. Coming up, we'll be sending you to New York for the NASDAQ.com halftime report.
On the other side, Mike Shanahan, he's really an X and O guy. So we watched practice on Friday out in Denver. I know there's a lot of little wrinkles still left in that bag of tricks. I think we're going to see some of them in the second half.
Yeah, I know that the Denver Broncos are coming off of a huge game a week ago. The Oakland Raiders have 2 comeback victories to their credit so far, although entirely different kinds of games. The tight one against San Diego and then the free-scoring one against Indianapolis.
You know what I like about this game so much as I watch it unfold, and the teams and the coaches, I think they realize the significance of it. Of course they do realize it, but I think they know that these battles they're going to have between each other could decide who's going to win their division, who gets a better spot in the playoffs, things like that. So 3rd game of the year, for all that to be right now, I think it creates the tension and makes for a better game.
Well, I did ask John Gruden, if he is going to be a force in the AFC West this year, and if he really wants to show that the Oakland Raiders are back and are going to mean something this year, He really needs to win this game.
Greg, you want to go to the playoffs, beat the teams in your division. That's always the key for every team before the start of the year.
David Dunn to the 20. Across the 25 to about the 27-yard line, and we check in with Armin Katayan. Armin.
Thanks, Greg. Phil, you were talking about X's and O's for Mike Shanahan. That's exactly what he said after that heated first half. I told my guys just to stay cool and calm. We got to make some plays. We got to take it easy, get a few first downs, and try to win this thing in the second half, obviously. Back to you.
Okay, Armin. A look at the numbers. BC and Gannon. And by the way, during the timeout, Armin confirms it's a bit warm down there on the field today.
Well, the rain's been falling for many weeks, so it's good to see the sun on Armin Katayan on the sidelines. Tired of hearing him complain.
Quick pass to this side, and out of bounds is Tim Brown on the reception.
You know, Greg, the QB comparison we just looked at, both of these teams, both of these coaches, these quarterbacks are always going to put up good numbers, or pretty good numbers, even on a bad day, because the systems are designed around the quarterbacks having success. So Rich Gannon's always going to hit a high percentage, and Brian Greasy's going to have chances to make plays.
2nd and 7. Kaufman, 40, 42-yard line, the first down. Same kind of play, it appeared, the one that he busted open for the long gainer in the first half.
Yeah, Napoleon Kaufman, just because he's not a big running back doesn't mean he can't go up inside. Look at that. He gets in the secondary, and finally, Al Wilson's the first guy that really lays a hand on him. Good blocking up inside. Mo Collins, Barrett Robbins doing a good job and sealing off the backside. Matt Stinscomb does a good job too. So Napoleon Kaufman, he's fast enough. Just give him a bit of a crease. He can get through there without taking a big hit.
Kaufman again, behind blocking, midfield to the 48, maybe the 47-yard line. Tanavasa and Crockett on the tackle after a 12-yard pickup.
Now that was a nice looking play. Look at this. Fake to the left, counter to the right. James Jett, Tim Brown, both coming down inside, leading the counter play. Look at the holding cut. Watch his eyes. He knows, oh, I got a chance. This can be big. And it just doesn't quite unfold the way he was hoping. He was trying to come inside, get Ray Crockett commit inside, and then go around him for a long game.
James Jett had two guys in front of him, didn't block either one. Wheatley. And Wheatley stood up at the line of scrimmage by Bill Romanowski.
You know, too, Greg, as we came into the game today, the Broncos, they have high hopes for their football team. Playoffs, thinking Super Bowl. Mike Shanahan said, why not us? We're as good as anybody out there. And as I look at the team, I don't know. You know, how can you win a majority of your games when your defense just gives up a lot of big plays, running and passing? You've got to really count on something. They just give up too many big plays for me.
4 wide receivers for Gannon. Has time, throws, has his man. Penalty marker is down. Tim Brown inside the 35-yard line, but now let's check the flag. It's going to be against Denver.
Nice. That was a good job that time by Rich Gannon.
Holding, defense number 9. The play resulted in the first down. Penalty is declined.
That's Ray Crockett.
1st and 10.
This is a good job. Watch Rich Gannon. He looks out to the left, and the whole time really, but there's the tight end. Dudley's open short, but he can see the play is going to develop. Oh, that's a nice shot. The umpire came, he's going, hey, nice throw, Rich. But he waits to let Tim Brown open up deeper down the field and takes advantage of the defense and gets the bigger play.
Tim Brown now 5 catches for 51 yards and 2 touchdowns. Back to the ground, Tyrone Wheatley. To the 30 and no more. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Now John Mobley coming off of surgery of last year. Got ump cam, that's what we call it, I guess, again. 51, oh, nice shot. Man, good job. Doesn't overcommit inside. That's not his responsibility. When the runner cuts back, he goes with him and makes a nice tackle.
John Mobley in his 5th year out of Kutztown. The #1 draft pick back in 1996.
Active. On sorry, Greg. Active is not quite the word for him. He's better than that.
Gannon, pump fake, now goes this side, has his man, Tim Brown inside the 10, it'll be 1st and goal. What did we say at the very beginning of the day? Rich Gannon may not be pretty, but boy, does he get the job done.
I don't know, he's looking pretty sexy to me right now because he is doing a tremendous job. Good job, Ray Crockett, holding on to Tim Brown, but really the play is made. Tim Brown's little move creates action, but Rich Gannon goes from one side to the other. Oh, look at that catch. Fingertips, almost comes out. Well, he's done that a few times. He knows how to react to pressure and adversity inside.
From the 6, 1st and goal. Wheaton barely makes it back to the line of scrimmage. Mobley and Monte Rager in the stop.
You know, Greg, you talked about Rich Gannon. Yeah, it's John Gruden. We had a nice conversation about Rich Gannon. I think there's so many things you can say positive about him. Gruden said the competitor. The other thing that caught me, he says, hey, we just had to go out and just get a key made for this guy because they don't open the complex till about 7 a.m. or 7:30. And Rich Gannon was always like throwing rocks on the window. Somebody let me in who's in there. So
they're a lot alike. They're almost exactly alike. Gannon to throw over the middle. Intercepted. John Mobley going to run it out. And back to the original line of scrimmage at about the 6 or 7 yard line. And the Broncos put the clamps on Gannon, the Raiders in the red zone.
Rich Gannon's confused this time. He looks outside. He never sees John Mobley. Throws inside. Easy interception for the Denver Broncos defense.
Bay Area. That 9-play, 67-yard drive. So beautiful the way it ended for the Raiders. Greasy. Gonna throw. McCaffrey. Out at the 12, 13-yard line. A 6-yard pickup, and let's go back to the interception.
Watch Rich Gannon's eyes. He looks way to the right. He's going to throw out there. Now the corner of his eye, his left eye, he sees the secondary receiver coming over the middle. He turns to throw all in the same motion, well schooled, but as he's letting it go, he goes, oh no. John Mobley's underneath it. That's why when you throw in the end zone, a lot of times, throw it high because sometimes you can't see the clutter inside.
Anderson to about the 15-yard line. Grady Jackson, Greg Beekert with the stop after a 2-yard pick. It'll be 3rd and 2.
Interesting thing going on up front today too, which I was really wanting to watch and kind of focus on, but it's been hard to with so much action. The smaller offensive line of the Denver Broncos and what they believe in and how to run an offense against the defensive front that's big and physical. Who's going to win out in that war? And physically, over the course of the game, the Raiders, I think, are winning a lot of the individual battles up front right now.
Double tight end. Quick drop, passes out here, complete, and that's a 1st down out close to the 20-yard line to Desmond Clark.
Well, just a good play call. Raiders trying to apply pressure. Again, the Broncos ready for it. Block everybody up, and it lets Desmond Clark, the tight end, get singled up outside. Good throw and catch.
Talking with Mike Shanahan, he had some decisions to make about his tight end position. He says he's got 3 pretty good ones in Dwayne Carswell, Desmond Clark, and Byron Chamberlain, who is not playing because of hamstring today. Big open up the middle. Anderson, 35-40, 43-yard line. 23-yard pickup.
Well, the Broncos, one thing they like to do, run it up inside. Watch Darrell Russell, 96. He's up. He's trying to come down the line. They push him. They cut behind it. Nice job by Mike Anderson. Seeing the defense, you just kind of feel the hole. He sees a defensive lineman getting pushed. Run where he was. Nice seal off by the outside, but the tight end created the big hole.
103 yards on the day for Mike Anderson. Greasy goes down at the 36-yard line. Grady Jackson.
Well, that's a nice job. Pressure from the outside. Brian Greasy steps up, but you always want your interior defensive lineman to stay in the middle. Don't so crazy getting up the field for the quarterback, so when he steps up, you're there to make the play.
Second sack of the day, and both by Grady Jackson for the Oakland Raiders. It'll be 2nd and 16. Anderson's second straight week of 100+ yards rushing. Greasy with time, wide open at midfield is Desmond Clark, and Clark appears to have enough for a first down.
Greg, you talked about the Broncos, and they let Shannon Sharp go. He went to the Baltimore Ravens, and they got like the package of tight ends to take care of what he used to do. And in the league nowadays, that's how it is in all positions. So Mike Shanahan, it becomes money, productivity. What can I do with all of it? He decided to play 3 different tight ends and spend money doing other things, trying to help his defense out.
17-yard pickup, first down at the 46-yard line of the Raiders. Greasy throws far side, and it is complete, and that's first down yardage. Howard Griffith, I was calling the interception that almost happened but never did.
You know what? It was close, but in the eyes of Brian Greasy, watch how close this is. When he lets it go, he knows it's perfect. I know he knows. You just know. And what a catch by Howard Griffith. He made a nice touchdown catch earlier. Again, you're going to play fullback in this offense. You better block well, and you got to have hands to catch the ball out near the sideline just like that.
Linebacker Elijah Alexander had 6 points in his plans. He just didn't get there in time. Anderson wrapped up by Josh Taves as he crossed the 30-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Now, I watched the game last week, the Broncos against the Atlanta Falcons, and you know, Mike Anderson got 131 yards and went, well, that's pretty good. But I didn't watch the game and go, oh man, he's special. I thought he did a good job his first start, but I see a difference today. He's more aggressive. Of course, the experience from last week, he feels more sure about what he's trying to do, and I think he's had a much more productive game against the competition.
Mike Anderson, the ex-Marine, takes the handoff again, and this time across the 20 and down to about the 18-yard line. You know, the funny thing is, it seems that a lot of people can run behind this offensive line of the Denver Broncos. Terrell Davis has done it, Olandis Gary has done it, and Mike Anderson is doing it again.
I like that. Faces in the crowd, and you're right. Being a running back for the Denver Broncos is like in years past, who's quarterback in the 49ers? It's a given. You're going to put up numbers.
Under 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Broncos on the move. Greasy throws, has it batted back into his face. Incomplete. Josh Taves, the man with a hand on that.
You know, Greg, we talk so much about a lot of things today, but the running game for the Broncos, there's the guy, Alex Gibbs. You know, just into it. He's been on the field most of the game. They could throw a flag at him if they wanted to because he always coaching as he goes along. But Mike Shanahan, when he got the job with the Broncos, who was the first person he called? Alex Gibbs, because if you don't get that offensive line coached well, you have no chance of being a playoff team in this league.
11th play of this drive. Anderson across the 15 to the 13-yard line.
And he's like he's mad. But that's the other thing. I know it's him and it's his talent, but part of being a running back with the Broncos, all right, they'll give you one cut, but you better pile it up in there. Here we go, ump cam. What kind of stories do the umpires go home at night and tell their kids about what they saw today? Some of these collisions and the hitting and running. And
well, I was scared to death when there was 10 minutes to play. I was scared to death when they were 6.5. 3rd and 4. Greasy needs the 9-yard line for a down. Rolling right, throws, it is incomplete. Intended for Clark, and Elijah Alexander was there for that one. And Greasy now shoving Reagan Upshaw.
Oh, I like it.
Who has a little history.
That's good, Brian Greasy. You know, defensive linemen, defensive players, I don't know what it is. They think they can actually intimidate the quarterback. Really, I'm serious. And you know, there's no chance. I don't care what they're going to do. They're going to beat me up with my equipment on. They can't do anything.
Joe Nedney, the ex-Raider, from 32 yards out for the lead. and it's good. First points of this quarter, and it's a Bronco lead by 3. Beautiful day in the Bay Area after the John Mobley interception. Brian Griese takes the Broncos 79 yards. Nedney's field goal has Denver on top 27-24. David Dunn will not run this one out of the end zone. Probably the best rivalry in the AFC West, one of the best in all of football, and it has a way of getting tempers flaring just a little bit. With its camera focused on an event, you know you're going to get a unique view overhead. The Goodyear Blimp Eagle. And our thanks for some great pictures today. Rich Gannon back to work on offense. Penalty marker flies. Richie out of the backfield with the reception out to the 28-yard line. It's going to bring it back with a holding call against the Raiders.
Lincoln Kennedy keeps looking at Mike Carey, so I don't know. It takes courage to throw a flag on Lincoln Kennedy when he's standing next to you.
Illegal hands to the face. Offense number 63. 10 yards, remains first down.
Barrett Robin, the center. So first and 20. And John Gruden has to hope that Rich Gannon has a little magic up his sleeves here in the last 3.5 minutes of the third quarter. Kaufman. And out close to the 20-yard line, so he got halfway to the first down. They got that 10-yard penalty back.
The Raiders have really done a good job here of scouting the Bronco defense, because they get it outside, and every time that there's not a defensive back inside the tackle to tackle, they have handed the ball off to Napoleon Kaufman coming up inside. And Bill Romanowski's the only guy there. He cannot tackle Napoleon Kaufman one-on-one, and he picked up 10 yards again that play.
Andre Rison on the field. Gannon, quick drop, throws, incomplete. Tim Brown wants an interference call, and it's not forthcoming. Ray Crockett was there to break it up.
Well, I didn't see it. This looked like a good play. Ray Crockett diagnoses the play. He sees it as a 3-step drop. Gets his hands, a little hold, nothing there. Nothing. Good job.
And how many times have we seen that play today or over the years? That's Tim Brown's play, that quick slant.
Well, Tim Brown always hovers about 5 or 6 yards from the line of scrimmage, and most of the time he catches them inside, somewhere between tackle and tackle.
3rd and 10. Gannon gets buried at the 17-yard line.
That time nobody opened down the field. Kavika Pittman celebrating from the sack, but really good job by Rich Gannon. Don't force it. Receivers were well covered. If he threw it, it would have just been trouble. Could have been an interception.
That's 4 sacks today for the Denver defense. Leckler to kick it away to Deltha O'Neal. O'Neal from the 35, looking for running room. Gets a couple of blocks, directs traffic, and is stood up at the 43-yard line by Calvin Branch. 48-yard punt, 8-yard return, 2:05 to play in the third, then 3. Greg Gumbel, Phil Simms, Army Katayan, and our ace CBS Sports crew here in Oakland. We have had a dandy of a game. 2:05 to play in third. The Broncos 27-24 over the Raiders. Mike Shanahan, one-time coach here. Griese under the gun, steps up, throws, and overthrows Desmond Clark on the far side of the field. Elijah Alexander administering the pressure. So it'll be 2nd and 10. We were talking about Mike Shanahan and how it's always an eventful week for him when he comes up against the Raiders. How about the Raiders and the Atlanta Falcons back-to-back? He had his differences, of course, with Dan Reeves when Dan Reeves was coaching Denver.
Yeah, that's right. I think he's coaching with a little bit of emotion these past 2 weeks. And, Greg, we've heard it from the Raiders. They know it. That's why they expect all these surprises from the Broncos.
Quick slant, complete to Rod Smith, and Smith over midfield to about the 46-yard line after a pickup of 11 yards.
That's why, you know, Chuck Bresnahan said whatever you see on film, whatever tendencies you think you got against Mike Shanahan, they're gone, because he's going to break out some good stuff, new stuff, and well, it's worked pretty well for him in all the times he's played against the Raiders.
Minute and a half to play here in the third. Anderson to about the 42-yard line, and let's check in once again with Jim Nance in New York. Jim.
All right, Greg, he's from Jackson State University. He was the first-round pick this year, and he's in the end zone for the second time today. I'm talking about Sylvester Morris, and the Chiefs have run off 21 unanswered, leading 21-10 mid-third. Let's go back to Greg and Phil.
All right, Jim. Elvis Gerbach brought his throwing arm to the stadium today. Under a minute to play here in the third quarter. Greasy with time, throws, it is caught by Ed McCaffrey at the 20-yard line once again. The advantages of the big, tall receiver as Greasy threw it up high, 23 yards and a first down.
That's got to be it. That's why Brian Greasy throws this ball. Two things. He looks down the field. Anthony Dorsett is going to come over, looks like he's going to make a play on it. Brian Greasy sees it, throws hard, makes the receiver stop, and look at Ed McCaffrey. He just goes up and takes it away. That's all it is. He used his size to his advantage, and look, if you're a big receiver, that's what you should do.
Ed McCaffrey, 6 catches, 82 yards, and time is wind down on us here in the third quarter. That's the end of 3 with the score Denver 27, Oakland 24. We'll come back after this message and a word from your local station. You are watching the NFL on CBS. Greasy throws, complete. Rod Smith diving for a first down and appears to have it at the 10-yard line.
Boy, Rod Smith, I thought he was going to have a huge day after watching the Broncos practice. He's had a few catches, but, you know, talking to Charles Woodson about Rod Smith, the thing that comes out of you watch him on film, but when you see him in person, he's a big, tall receiver, but he's a little faster and more deceptive in person than you think he is when you watch him on TV or on the films. Get ready for it.
First and goal at the 9-yard line. 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals in the red zone. Pass, touchdown. Billy Miller, no, and now it is not a touchdown. Billy Miller, number 82.
The exact same play. They threw the play before. And what happens is, watch the defensive back on the outside. They come up to stop the short one. Brian Greasy throws over the top of Eric Allen. Ooh, pretty close. I couldn't tell if he gets his feet. Oh, they're down.
I thought they were down.
He has them down.
Greasy to throw. That's complete and stopped at about the 6-yard line. Rod Smith with Calvin Branch coming up to make the tackle. It'll be 3rd and goal.
First time we've seen the Broncos spread out with 5 receivers, and they really got the Raiders the first 2 plays. It would have been a touchdown. Now that time, it just shows you this league is incredible. They adjusted on the 3rd play and made it, covered it, and kept it to a short gain.
In the third quarter, the John Mobley interception turned this game around. Instead of Oakland taking its first lead, the Broncos drove go-ahead field goal and now look to extend their lead. Anderson brought down at about the 3. Greg Biekert with the tackle.
Well, let's take a look at this one from Camp, trying to catch him by surprise. But the difference is, this play, it's not going to work. The Raiders just have too many people inside. And Greg Biekert, nice job of just seeing else in the play and making the tackle.
Nedney signed this week to replace injured Jason Elam. 22 yards. And it's good. 13:07 to play. In regulation, the Bronco lead is 6. 53-yard drive. Nedney caps it with a 22-yard field goal, and this is the kicker, held on to by John Gruden till the end. Nedney thought it was unfair to him. Said he can't be happier than coming back and having a chance to kick against his old team. The 25, the 30, and close to the 35-yard line is David Dunn. Will take a timeout. 12:57 to play the fourth quarter. Rich Gannon goes back to work. Double tight end. And Tyrone Wheatley to about the 39-yard line. 5-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 5.
Big play. The fact that the Broncos didn't score a touchdown last time, get a field goal, it changes the way the Raiders think. One score, you're ahead. You know you're going to get the football a couple more times, so there's no sense of urgency here. You use your playbook, go settle things down, and make the Broncos defense start defending both the run and the pass.
And boy, a 10-point difference compared to a 6-point lead.
That's 4 in my book.
Gannon with time. His man, Tim Brown, out of bounds inside the 45-yard line of the Oakland Raiders, or rather the Denver Broncos. 17-yard gain.
I like it when I see teams in this league block it up. In other words, keep guys in, give a guy like Tim Brown a chance. Now he catches a lot of short ones. Watch, goes down the field. He's covered, but he gets that extra second, creates separation, goes to the outside. Rich Gannon is waiting for him all the way. When he gets open, he makes a nice throw.
92 yards on the day for Tim Brown, who is in motion to the near side. Gannon pulls it down, gonna run. 35, and is hit right at the 35-yard line by safety Eric Brown. You know, we're talking with John Gruden, and John Gruden can absolutely identify with Rich Gannon, the same kind of character, and there's an ex-quarterback out of the University of Dayton. Back in those days, he was a running quarterback a lot like Rich Gannon. And when we said, Coach, we have some footage of it, he said, it's got to be ugly.
Oh, no, it looked pretty good.
Yeah, it did.
Hey, had some wheels. He said, I wasn't a very good quarterback, but I just wanted to play it. I think it's because the quarterback's in charge.
On 2nd and 1, Wheatley looking for the first down. John Mobley with the hit.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting, Greg. I even brought up to John Gruden. I said, you know, you and Rich Gannon remind me of kind of the same guy. And he gave his head look. And he goes, yes, people have said that about us before, but I think they're both extremely competitive. And you hear, even John Gruden says, I got to be careful what I say to Rich Gannon. Because if I say anything that's wrong, he rips me either on the sideline, or he'll come into me the next day and go, Coach, you were wrong. I watched the film and I told you. And it's really an interesting way for these two to get along and be coach and quarterback.
Timeout on the field. Rich Gannon pointing. Raiders call timeout. Rich Gannon's upset about something, and he's going to come over to the side and talk about it. Back in Oakland, Greg Gumbel, Phil Simms, Armin Katayan. Rich Gannon was arguing the fact that, you know, they didn't reset that play clock.
And he was right. And Mike Carey realizes the mistake, I think.
And is about to say so.
The officials took extra time getting the chain set. Therefore, Oakland will not be charged with a timeout. First down.
You know what? It's a good call because the Raiders were waiting to get the play and do whatever, and it disrupted their offense. And when you disrupt the offense, then you should not penalize the offensive team.
1st and 10 from the 33-yard line of the Denver Broncos. Gannon throws. Tim Brown had it and dropped it.
Oh, look at the tape on Tim Brown's hands. But that was not an excellent throw by Rich Gannon. The football looks like it gets away from him a little. Watch as it goes out. It looks like, look at the nose. The nose of the football looks like it's trying to go down. Tim Brown has fallen well.
Phil,
it's
not a bad pass.
I stand corrected. It looks much better on replay, but that was slow motion.
A little too much, still too much anesthetic in the body. 2nd and 10.
It's in the eyes.
And a straight drop down the middle. It is incomplete. You know, is Rich Gannon zeroing in on Tim Brown as this game wears on? Neither James Jett nor Andre Rison have recorded a reception today.
Well, get it to the guy who can score the touchdowns, and that's Tim Brown. Watch this. Rich Gannon, nice throw, throws it over the top. Terrell Buckley, 27, covering Tim Brown. Just gets his fingertips on it. Terrell Buckley, tallest defender, but fast, can jump, and not afraid to take a chance to make a play as a defensive back.
Oakland, 3rd down has not been a great down for them today. 3rd and 10.
Oh, nice blocking.
And throws it out here to the side, and it's complete to Randy Jordan. Jordan diving for the 1st down. Did he get there? It doesn't appear he did. Looks to be about 2 yards shy. Talk about your improvisation in the backfield.
I don't know what to say about terrific physical play by Rich Gannon, but the blocking up front against the blitz. Watch John Ritchie to the left. Stall, you can't quite see it. Steps up, gives Rich Gannon all this extra time, and Gannon finally sees Randy Jordan to the outside.
And they're going to go for it on 4th and of a yard, about a yard and a half. Tyrone Wheatley in the backfield with Ritchie. Brown is in motion, and whistle blows.
Oh, they had him too. They had the Broncos.
False start. Number 80, 5 yards, 4th down.
That's Andre Rison.
They had the shift of the tight end and the movement, the action fake. John Ritchie was going to be wide open in the flat for a 5 or 6 yard gain.
So onto the field now comes Sebastian Janikowski.
Now those, Greg, real quick, those are mistakes that are hard to tolerate. Movement in a crucial situation.
49-yard field goal attempt off the dirt.
Man, look at the legs on him.
They have to curve, and it didn't curve enough. He missed it.
There's a difference here. In the NFL, that football is not as forgiving as it is in college. Doesn't hook back in.
Welcome back to Oakland on the first play from scrimmage. Rich Gannon completes a pass to Ed McCaffrey on 1st down. And the clock moving. We're under 9 minutes to play here in regulation. Denver with a 30-20 lead. And that's close to a 1st down. Close enough, we may have a measurement. We will.
Ed McCaffrey, as usual, taking a whooping out there, taking hits, but 7 catches, big part of the game. And the thing you like about what he does, the Broncos really use the size of their receivers very well in the whole scheme of their offense. As I look at it, you can't tell right there. I'm looking to see, he's always trying to shed something on his uniform to make him faster.
Smoother.
Yeah, smoother. Yeah, I don't know if he could take any more stuff off. Look at those shoulder pads, no pads in his pants.
1st down for the Denver Broncos, a yard shy of midfield. Back to the ground game. Anderson busts it across midfield, a pickup of about 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 7. Sebastian Janikowski continues to struggle. He is yet to make a field goal from longer than 24 yards this young season. And this is a young man who is known for his leg strength, kicked a 56-yarder, a school record at Florida State.
Big difference college to the pros. Got to be much more precise. The footballs are not as forgiving, and Joe Nedney, well, he knows it takes a while, like quarterbacking, I think, for these kickers to get used to being to the tighter field goals, to the being more precise and kicking brand new football.
Greasy over the middle. Penalty marker flies as Smith makes the reception and goes across the 40 to about the 38-yard line. That's 11 yards, but now let's check the flag. It's against the Raiders.
Desmond Clark, number 88, was acting like he was held out in the right flat. That's where Brian Griese was looking.
Holding. Defense number 58. Penalty is declined. Play results in a first down.
Elijah Alexander, the linebacker.
Well, there he is, Brian Griese throwing the football to Ryan Smith. Yeah, I always like when we go around, Greg, just like the Raiders. They don't say it. They don't even pretend. But teams are going to throw the football to their top players. The Raiders are going to throw it to Tim Brown. The Broncos, they do spread it around between Ed McCaffrey and Rod Smith are going to catch the football.
McCaffrey in motion to give to Anderson. Anderson, hole on the left side, and there it goes. 15, 10, and down at about the 8-yard line. Anthony Dorsett saved the touchdown.
Boy, just look at Mike Anderson. First off, terrific blocking up front, but Mike Anderson showing a burst this week. Get up inside, wait, sees the hole, that little cut. Did you see the one move to his left and then go hard? That explains the running game, the running style of the Broncos offensive running backs and their offensive line. Boy, nice cut, and then it with a purpose and brought down from behind by Dorsett.
131 yards last week, 156 today, and he's looking for more. Stopped at the 7-yard line by Johnny Harris. Let's go down Armin Katayan. Armin.
You know, Greg, you mentioned Mike Anderson. It's interesting, he never played football in high school. He actually played drum in the high school band. As you mentioned, he went on to the Marines for 4 years, where he got involved with first flag football and then full contact football before going to junior college and on to the University of Utah, where he became the oldest player drafted in the draft. And in fact, he'll celebrate his 27th birthday this week. Back to you.
Thanks, Armin.
Well, I'll tell you, Greg, we said it. I can tell a difference in this guy last week to this week. He looks more decisive. He looks quicker.
Anderson inside the 5 to the 3. Harris with the stop.
Now, he can't look any bigger. I know he's getting tired, too, because he is wearing out. He's okay. Well, I hope so. I should say that. I thought he was just looking to catch his breath, but he's holding that knee. The Broncos were hoping to come into this game and have Terrell Davis and Mike Anderson share the load. But Mike Shannon told me on Friday that they would go 50-50. Each would carry the same amount of plays. Let's see what happens. Hits it up in there, gets a little off balance. Couldn't tell. It's the first hit. It's the first hit. Right here. This is the one.
Johnny Harris. And he is still on the ground.
I couldn't see any.
Anderson is fine on the sideline. Detron Smith has entered the game. That's Smith in motion. To the 3-yard line is Howard Griffin.
The Broncos taking no chances.
Yeah, onto the field comes Joe Nedney, who probably is having a great old time here today.
Oh, it just doesn't get any better for him. 3 for 3. That's 9 points. Extra, all the extra points from the touchdowns. See, 9 plus 3 is 12.
This will be a 21-yard attempt. And Joe Nedney registers another field goal. Another nail into the Oakland Raider coffin. We shall see. 33-24. Back at sold-out Network Associates Coliseum. Joe Nedney ready to kick it away. And once again, David Dunn is at the goal line for the Raiders, who need something to happen here. They've been held scoreless in the second half. Dunn from the 7-yard line. And brought to a stop at the 25. And once again, let's check in to New York. Jim Nance.
Well, Greg, it looks like a star has been born today at Kansas City. Sylvester Morris, for the 3rd time today, hauls in a touchdown from Elvis Gerback. Chiefs in a runaway. Ryan Leafs in a quarterback for San Diego, who's already been picked once. Let's go back now to Greg and Phil.
All right, Jim, thank you. Coming up on 4.5 minutes play here in Oakland. You see the numbers on Rich Gannon. Gannon with a bullet in the middle, and that's complete to his tight end, Ricky Dudley. Raiders scored all their points in a span of 9 minutes and 48 seconds in the first half. They have registered nothing since the midway point of the second quarter.
And they're in a hurry up. The Raiders need 2 scores, and it doesn't matter which way they come. Field goal first and a touchdown, or the touchdown first. That's the main thing. Manage the clock if you get the opportunity.
Gannon throws it. It is intercepted. Terrell Buckley to the 40, the 45, and is brought down. And that may put the cap on a big victory of the Denver Broncos on the road. But wait, there's a penalty marker down.
Offense, number 79. Penalty was declined. First down.
The penalty on Mo Collins. The Broncos will refuse the penalty, and it'll be Denver ball.
Couple things here. You know, Rich Gannon buys the time, good blocking, finally gets a little pressure, waiting for somebody to come open down the field. But watch as he looks down the field. Over here, Bill Romanowski and Ricky Dudley. Gannon knows it's single. Come on, Ricky. Finally throws it, and Ricky Dudley decides to stop instead of coming across the field. I'm not going to say he could have caught this, but look. And then he goes back the other way. If you keep running, at least you knock the ball down. Bill Romanowski wins the battle. Just out tough Ricky Dudley that time, and that is the reason why Gannon throws the interception.
Mike Anderson back into the game, and he takes the handoff, and he's close to midfield. Oakland Raiders didn't turn the ball over once in the first 2 games of this season. They've turned it over 4 times today.
The game is so much about precision. As a quarterback drops back, he knows the route. So that tight end's supposed to go across. You can't decide to do anything different, I don't care what, because he can't read your mind. Look, that's what they're talking about.
Oakland uses its second timeout. Denver has 2 remaining, Oakland 1.
Well, good coverage, pressure on the quarterback, all those things, playing, you know, in a mode that you've got to make a play and come from behind. That's when you make turnovers.
Meanwhile, as we mentioned earlier, Brian Griese said that he went back and watched both games against the Oakland Raiders last year and said, I couldn't believe some of the things that I did. He may feel better about this one.
Well, he should. You know, again, so many things, little things that Brian does well. Look at this. No intercept, just managing the game, conducting himself the right way.
And Anderson pulls for a first down.
And just conducting himself, making decisions. They're coming easy. He diagnoses things right away. He knows, like, if they're covered. Mike Shanahan said it too. He knows when to run because he knows the type of defenses he can run against. He's not the fastest guy afoot, of course, but all those little things added up with experience and a really good coaching staff, which always helps a quarterback, and the fact that they run the football, it leads us to what we've seen from Brian Griese the first 3 games.
The Raiders have used their 3rd and final timeout, and while we have a moment, let's remind you, get free shipping on all NFL gear. Just click on shop at cbs.sportsline.com. You know, we heard Brian Griese say in Leslie Visser's feature on him and on the NFL Today that he is learning more about his role on the team. And, you know, he added something interesting when he was talking to us. He also said he's learning more about himself and his role in the community as well as a leader.
That all comes about. I tell you, Greg, I think the best thing that happened to Brian Griese is the fact that they were 6-10 last year. Because your team, it needed to kind of fall apart. And now they can look, okay, John Elway's gone. Let's get over it, and let's go back up. And the only way you were going to come back up for the Broncos, and the team members knew it, is for Brian Griese to be a big part of that. And so it just took away a lot of things. He took over a team last year, basically the new guy in, and they're all looking at him going,
Who is
Who
this?
are you? You didn't help us win the 2 Super Bowls. You're not, and we lose, it's got to be your fault because you're the new part in this little machine we got going. So really losing, I think, was a blessing almost for the team and especially for Brian Greasy.
Anderson to the 42-yard line of the Oakland Raiders. Tony Bryant makes the tackle. A gain of 6, and the Raiders are out of timeouts. Clock continues to move, 3.5 to play here in the fourth quarter.
And you know, how about this too? It's a little thing, you know, you just don't pay attention. The fact that they set Terrell Davis down today. It's a big game. All these things. Mike Shanahan didn't panic and say, nope, he's got to go. Suck it up, Terrell. Look at this, 415 yards. Their average today, 380.
Anderson spinning to the 40-yard line. Lance Johnstone with the tackle.
You know, this Mike Anderson's a nice little, well, he's a different fit from Terrell Davis and Olandis Gary. He's just a bigger, you know, he's just more powerful, you know, just the size alone. Look at that.
You know, here's the question. How can you improve on a 131-yard debut?
He just showed us. That's right. Go for 180.
The exact number of carries he had against Atlanta last week, 31 of them.
My bad, I'm sorry.
There were times he got drafted and he was in training camp going, I'll never carry the ball 50 times in my career in this league. He does it over 60 in 2 games.
Well, he's got another carry. He's got more yardage to about the 30 to 31-yard line.
And I'm telling you, Greg, it's late in the game. The defense is tired and the game is over, all those things. But Mike Anderson, so big, coming in there. Defenders do not, they'll turn down from this guy.
32 carries, 187 yards for the rookie out of Utah. 2-minute warning. Those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS and the game between the Denver Broncos and the Oakland Raiders. Greg Gumbel along with Phil Simms and Armin Katayan, and right now with 2 minutes to play, the Broncos hold a 33-24 lead. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except here on the West Coast. Well, you know, John Gruden had great expectations for his Oakland Raiders the way they played the first 2 games, but the Denver Broncos have been relentless today, even when the Raiders came back from a huge early deficit to tie.
I tell you, we watched 2 teams today that react well to adversity and like it a little chaotic, both of them.
Greasy on the keeper to the 30-yard line.
You know, Denver can definitely play up-tempo with anybody. We saw that when they played the Rams in St. Louis in the opening game of the year. They're not afraid of the Raiders. I don't know, they need a little more controlled atmosphere, I think, to be successful over the long run. Well, the turnovers, that's huge. 4 turnovers. You know, coaches have percentages and all that. If you turn the football over 4 times in the National Football League, your chances of probably winning are about 10%. So the Raiders really fortunate with all those turnovers to be in the game as long as they were, but that just shows you the playmaking ability they have on both sides of the football.
Greasy takes a knee, and John Gruden and the Raiders can't do anything about the clock, which comes up on 1 minute to play here in the game.
And you know, Greg, we've come to a new age in football, I think, too. The St. Louis Rams, their defense, it's at best average, and I'm being kind. The Denver Broncos, they hope they got a good defense, but these are teams we're seeing where teams can win by scoring. It's not the old way. You need a good defense, got to run the ball and play good special teams. You can do it by scoring a lot of points and just beating people that way. And Denver is going to be one of those teams.
Hey, what's the difference in this game? How about a bunch of field goals from the ex-Raider, Joe Nedney, says, hey, I'd like nothing better than to come back and shoot John Gruden. Well, he did that today. 33-24 is going to be the final tally when these 20 seconds wind down. Mike Shanahan and John Gruden meet at midfield. Brian Greasy has now engineered 2 straight victories after an opening game loss to the St. Louis Rams. Ed McCaffrey, a terrific day for him. Mike Shanahan, now 10-1 in his coaching career at Denver against the Raiders. Does he feel good about that? You bet he does. Once again, our final score, the Denver Broncos 33, the Oakland Raiders 24, coming up next on CBS, except in the Pacific time zone. Stay tuned for another fascinating 60 minutes. For Phil Simms and Armin Katayan and all of us here in Oakland, I'm Greg Gumbel. So long from Oakland, California. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 35.